I'm gonna keep this. How much better do I think Winds of Abandon gets when you're playing Mystic Sanctuary? Like, in amounts. It just... The thing about Winds of Abandon is it looks really, really good when there's a board stall and you overload it. And you feel really smart. But the front half of Winds of Abandon is underpowered for Modern. It's like 2 mana at sorcery speed to exile a creature and then give them a land is underpowered. And I don't think you should be playing it. But it does get better with Mystic Sanctuary. I'll let this resolve. Creeping Tar Pit Inquisition. A very fancy opening, very classy opening. You're going to play mopey green creatures in both formats? I think it sounds up your alley. This is a shirt that me and my friends used to wear to tournaments all the time, Fluffy. As a kid, he's surfing the web. Surfing on a keyboard. It's very fashionable. Yeah, I guess this could be fairies. Opt is a bit weird in fairies, I guess, but it's not like there's a stock fairy list, I guess. Yeah, I think Winds was definitely on my list of cards I thought would be good for Pioneer. It feels like about a good power level for Pioneer, or even Standard, maybe. Maybe not Standard. It's almost there. It's almost good enough for Modern, just not quite. They took the Uro. It's kind of surprising. I think I'll just Skyclave the Snapcaster. We have two Skyclaves, and so this way, we get a little ahead on board instead of just getting beat down. Rather than holding up like the reactive Remand while we're a little behind on board. Also a bit more mana efficient. Not going to force that though. Can maybe Venser the token. Basic planes, baby. I'm gonna remand this and then force it on their turn if they play it. I don't want that to resolve on my Uro. Fair enough. You win, I yield. I don't know if my opponent's gonna show me a fairy this game. We'll see, I guess. They're gonna fire up that Tar Pit. Creeping Tar Pit has been activated. It's game over, basically. It's a good draw. Perfect mana. Dude, if Skyclave could exile tokens, it would be... I mean, Skyclave is really, really good. It would be too good, I think. I'm gonna cast Grave Titan, and it's gonna be real good. It's gonna be real, real good. Maybe I wanted to cut the 4th Skyclave for the 2nd Venser. Probably did. Yeah, we got a Titan Mirror here. Amazing. You know what? I'm gonna play around Shadow of Doubt. I got a feeling that could be over there. Yeah, the Chad Grave Titan versus the Virgin Uro. Yeah, Modern has just been great for a long time. Like, I really do think you can win with anything at the moment. I mean, anything within reason, I should say, of course. Preface that a bit. It's fine. Just like as long as you got a good reason to be doing what you're doing, you're probably fine. Which is awesome. I really, really like where Modern is at the moment. I might ephemerate my own Uro, but it feels like a bit of a spew. Although now that I've drawn this, it feels like a fine play to make because we can flash in the Ice-Fang in our upkeep. Of course. with Force of Negation up now that we've drawn a land. Anything within reason, Squall Chief begs to differ. Squall Chief 4-1 with like Rat Tribal. I don't know why Squall Chief would... Oh, so you're saying Squall Chief begs to differ that you could even play unreasonable things. Maybe just expand your mind as to what is or isn't reasonable, I suppose. Open up your third eye. Alright. Fair enough. Well, I guess if they don't have a black source, they have to crack that for no value. But they have a black source. Well, that lined up well against ours. I'm just going to pass with this up. My opponent Field of Ruins me, I'm probably going to bounce the land they Field of Ruin and draw a card. It's fine. I think. Maybe it's not fine. I don't know. Can Skyclave a Spreading Seas? I'm gonna wait to fetch. If I draw like a green or white source, it's gonna impact my fetch here. Yeah, I think I'll just play that. Hold up Remand. My first time ever wishing I had a second Temple Garden in the deck. I think we just need to let it resolve. They're a Grave Titan deck. That's 2 Uros exiled, only 1 left. Okay, so we can bounce our Temple Garden with this Venser if we want to. Would really unlock our mana. Well, I think it started with TSP Jindrak playing like the blue-black Narset deck, and now we have a complete lunatic as an opponent playing blue-black Grave Titan, a mad genius. We're gonna get Grave Titaned. I think we're gonna get Grave Titaned. Guys, they're a Grave Titan deck. Yeah, maybe losing to Grave Titan is just good value. This doesn't have a green source. Oh, it does have. There's a breeding pool. There's a breeding pool. I think I'm just gonna get basic planes though and Skyclave the Spreading Seas. It'll be great for the YouTube algorithm if we lose the Grave Titan. Be a pretty juicy thumbnail. I don't even think I'd have to make like an exaggerated facial expression. I think I probably just did already when they cast Grave Titan. They cling my Ice-Fang, which I'm pretty okay with them not drawing a card here. Although, like, Ice-Fang is what I wanted to get back with Witness, so I understand why they did it. We're ahead on cards, not by a lot, but by a little bit. I think we can afford to leverage that by waiting on the Venser until we have maybe Remand up to Remand our own Venser after they counter it. Ephemerate's not a bad pickup either. Okay, so if they flashback Cling to Dust is always like a little weird to see, but it makes sense here. Could let it go. If we Venser this Cling to Dust, the Cling to Dust goes away forever. So I think I'm okay doing this. Maybe I should have left up white mana. But I figured that this would happen, and now I understand we're soft to Grave Titan, but like they have to have it in their hand, and I figured that they would have a counter spell for us to get a little bit of value there. They have it. That's unreal. It's unreal, but it's not definitely unbeatable if we just draw Cryptic. We can loop Cryptics. I just can't believe it. I'm going to start off by casting a Wall of Omens. I guess we're going to bounce the Titan back to their hand and hold up Ephemerate. Can't believe it. This is game 2. Can't believe it. Yeah, we have already lost once to the Grave Titan. They killed us with it last game. I mean, we have Ounce to just take infinite turns here. Cryptic or Time Warp is usually how you overcome spots like this. I tried to play around it, and they just positioned where I couldn't really. I mean, I guess Time Warp still wins the game. Are we dead on board? I don't think so. Maybe we are. Oh, there's a freaking creeping tar pit over there. We're definitely dead on board. Right? They've got 6 attackers. We got 5. Yeah, we're dead to the tar pit. We weren't dead without the tar pit, though. I don't think we're supposed to witness Ephemerate. I think we're supposed to draw. We needed to draw Cryptic or Time Warp, so I was trying to cantrip into it. Dude, Grave Titan is the truth. Grave Titan, best threat in Modern. Rohanosa? Rohanosa, I concede to you. You are the true control master. Please let me study in your dojo. Teach me how to Grave Titan. Teach me how to Grave Titan, people. Yeah, but who needs Field of the Dead, I guess, when you just have Grave Titan? That's a good counterpoint. It's a good counterpoint. Keep this. You get Temple Garden on turn 1. Oh, I forgot to get my Bant Triumph. Wait, did I forget to put a Bant Triumph in the deck? What a mistake to not put the Bant Triumph in here. It's obviously something that we need to be playing. Let me see if I have any Bant Triumphs in my collection already. Did I misspell Triumph? I'm trying to do a bit here at Magic Online. All right. yeah, Canister was playing a Bant Triumph. Oh, it's not even letting me zoom in. Man, all right, the joke is over. I hereby declare this joke to be over. Yeah, Moto's like, this joke was never funny to begin with. I'm gonna help you out by never even letting you begin the joke. Not that it really matters, but the classic forget about your cost reducer and then pay the right amount of mana for your spell. Gets the loot away Past in Flames. That's some good value. We're going to need to find another piece of interaction this turn, or we may just be dead. Force of Negation, I think, is the best one. Alright, I'll cast this. So you might be saying to yourself, isn't it risky to not leave a counterspell up when your opponent's playing a Storm deck? They could have Remand here. But there is a rule in Magic, and this is a funny joke. Damn it, this is a really funny joke. But in fact, if you look closely, On the rules text on... Oh no, I used to know this card's name. On Kargan, Intimidator, and Bold were Intimidator. Cowards cannot block warriors, and once you understand that, I think the play becomes pretty clear. Yeah, cowards cannot block warriors. Not even a little bit, honestly. I'm not a coward, and I will block you, Baral. It's honestly just such a good line of text. They're passing. They're passing. Easy. Easy was always the right play. It was always even clearly the right play, if I could be so bold. Alright, we'll see if Skyclave is a warrior, and we'll see if Baral is a coward. They're not going to block this. There's no way they block. Ah! Man, opponent saw right through me. They saw right through me. We could counter this and bounce Baral. I kind of love that. Do you guys like unironically play around things? Because I don't. Mutagenic Growth Remand. But how are they going to draw the Remand and still cast it? Ah, that's how! Oh, man. What a play. That was a cool play. I think we're dead. I think we're dead. Play Spirebluff Canal tapped. Okay, Grape Shot my Wall of Omens. I don't think we're dead. I recant my death claim. One mana deal 6 damage as you choose is a pretty good card though. But they're down to 3 cards plus Past in Flames in their graveyard, and now, as blisteringly fast as turn 6, we get to untap with 2 counter spells. Amazing. Incredible speed. Just Tails in the... Every time I play this matchup, people tell me to bring in Tails in for Grape Shot, but I'll just say this now, and then I'll repeat myself in 5 minutes when we go to Sideboard, but it is very trivial for them to just flash back a Past in Flames and Grape Shot you again. It's very easy for them to beat Tails End on their Storm trigger. It is kind of cute that Tails End also counters Baral, but I don't think it's worth bringing in. My opponent's hand is weak. I don't even think I don't think it's unreasonable to Cryptic this. My opponent's hand is very weak, I think, if they didn't kill us last turn. I think it's good to counter this. Just 1 for 1. Or 2 for 1, rather. You can definitely like play Super Afraid in spots and just like let them sculpt their hand and, you know, not be able to use your mana effectively. I wouldn't do this if I didn't also have the Remand for their Past in Flames. And we could also draw Force of Negation. Like a professional Magic player, damn it. I can't believe it. So their Past in Flames cost 2 mana to flash, or 3 mana to flash back, so they're going to need a Ritual or Manamorphose to effectively do this. That's a Ritual. I feel like we can let this resolve. Just give them 2 Rituals, probably. One thing I see a lot of players do when they play against Storm is they just kind of counter Pass and Flip, or Gifts Ungiven all the time, but I think you could let it resolve a decent amount. Like, now they just have 2 Rituals that don't do anything in their hand. And now we just get to Remand the Past in Flames. You know, if their one unknown card is a storm spell, this is awkward, but I don't think we're supposed to play around their one unknown card being that good. Especially when we have force. What does the thumbs up option do? I think you get to brag about a tournament finish, and I'll thumbs up and tell you did a good job. Yeah, the Gibson Given was, you know, just 2 mana, put 2 rituals in my graveyard, or I guess, you know, 2 rituals and a Grapeshot and a Manamorphose, but was not actually card advantage. Play Wall of Omens first. Alright, we can double Ice-Fang on defense, block all their guys. Yeah, I don't think their gift choices were that good, but they were definitely going for the kill because they didn't really have a density of rituals in their graveyard. But I don't think they really needed it because I don't think they needed to get all the rituals there. I think they probably should have gotten like Gifts, Manamorphose, Grapeshot, Grapeshot, Empty the Warrens. Oops. It's all a show. It's all a show. Just putting on a show. Just putting on a show. Nothing to see here. Except for the show, I guess. This is an entertainment stream, okay? This is not a place you go for high-level Magic the Gathering. All jokes all the time, baby. Yeah, maybe I was the paid actor all along. They put 2 cards on top. Yeah, maybe the real paid actors were the friends we made along the way. Opponent's like, so lucky to have drawn exactly 2 Ice-Fangs as the 2 draws off of the draw step and the Teferi. I'm not going to crack the Strand. I think that the life matters more than the thinning. I could definitely see a game where our opponent just gets 6 Storm and then Grapeshots us. We could maybe play the second Teferi and then bounce the Wall of Omens. I actually think that's good. We know our opponent topped. We'll just counter anything they do. I want to start churning through the deck a bit and get to an Uro, and that way we can, instead of possibly lose the game, never lose the game. We're 30 cards in without seeing an Uro. Okay, I mean, Ewit plus a Ephemerate is going to be incredibly difficult for my opponent to beat here, of course. Guess I'll get a second Ephemerate. Maybe this is going to be too many clicks, but we're up 5 minutes on the clock. I don't know that my opponent's supposed to concede because they could just like draw enough spells and a Grapeshot here, but it doesn't really seem like they're playing to that. Like they should not have played the Electromancer. They should have just held it, I think. My first sanctioned constructed event was GP Dallas, where I got day 2 playing Mardu Pyromancer. I lost to Hogak X3. Is it... Why did they have to ban Faithless Looting? Such a fun deck. Good job, Iceman. It's really cool to day 2 your first GP. And Blackwing has redeemed a deck tech. Give me 1 second. I'll get to that. How many hours will it take to get to 2 billion channel points? Between 10 and 15 hours, I think. This is Modern Inverter. I think I'll get to this deck after this match. Sorry to make you wait. It's just there's a lot of clicking going on. I guess I did take the line that led to the most clicks. We do have our Hill Giant though. It's our beat down. Are we gonna start bouncing all of their lands? I think so. Maybe this is unnecessary. I mean, honestly, realistically, my opponent should probably just scoop. But I also probably shouldn't be like, all we have in our hand is value. Like, we just need to draw an Uro, and we've drawn an Uro. Now our opponent should concede because it's not like they can ever really grape shot enough at this point in the game. To discard a couple cards. Just discard it. I guess I should have discarded Ice-Fang, whatever. Doesn't really matter. We are in garbage time. When it casts a Gifts Ungiven, I counter it. Just not even gonna do anything besides attack and discard my Uro for turn. They got one card to get through all of this. Classic behind on clock. Play to the clock. Alright, so we've got Modern Inverter as a deck tech. I would play 4 Inverter. I don't know how obvious that sounds, but I mean, maybe if you have already played like hundreds of matches with the deck and you've determined that 3 is the right number, then then that's fine. I could believe you on that. But I think that personally, let me sideboard. Personally, I kind of think that it's probably better to like side out some number of inverters and just main deck the full 4 to be as fast as possible in game 1s. That would be my impression at least. Maybe I just want to play like 2 Skyclaves and then 2 Uros and 2 Gust. Maybe the 3rd Gust over the 3rd Cryptic. Okay. I do like to Cling to Dust. I'm honestly, the more and more I play with Bloodchief's Thirst, and this is coming from me playing a lot of it in Standard recently, is maybe Bloodchief's Thirst just kind of sucks. The fact that it's sorcery speed does not necessarily, or the fact that it's 1 mana does not necessarily compensate for the fact that it's sorcery speed. And the more and more I play, the more and more I think sorcery speed removal is bad. Okay, pause. Is there any way we can keep this? We're on the draw and we have 2 Force of Negations against Storm, and we've already mulliganed once. I think I would keep this if it was a 1-lander. On a no-lander, I'm going to go. But like, I honestly don't even know that I would necessarily fault anyone for keeping that hand. Maybe that's crazy. I would not play 2 Sunken Hollow, I think. I think I would just play 1. And maybe the 4th Watery Grave in that spot. Probably the 4th Watery Grave. I do like your Spell Split. I actually think this is really good. You know, if you have to find a cut for a Tasker, maybe the 2nd Murderous Cut gets played over the Tasker. Oh, sorry, for the 4th Inverter, not Tasker. I would play Plague Engineer over Witch's Vengeance like 100% of the time. I'm not a big fan of Entrancing Melody. I know it's your prowess sideboard card. I might even just play like Dragon's Claw instead. Like you just have so much removal. You already have 4 charms. Maybe a 3rd relic. All right, those are my thoughts. Thirst Blowing Up Rin is very, very good. I mean, I feel like it's less good for Inverter, but you are right. Yeah, I think you just want to like cut the 4th Inverter a lot of the time, but still main deck the 4th copy. At least that's how I would approach it initially. But you know, I think if you play hundreds of matches with it, you can determine that the 4th one is not where you want to be. But I know that I probably couldn't determine it unless I played the hundreds of matches. That's always been. Oh no, I was thinking about drawing Antonize. I feel like that is a weakness I have, is that I'm pretty good at coming up with, you know, first drafts, but because I think my first drafts are usually pretty solid, I sometimes just have a hard time figuring out exactly what needs to change unless I have just like 100 matches under my belt. Is your pet Athena request happening? I missed it. I can go pet her, but she is napping, or we can refund you, Spirit Walker. If you want to wait for her to actually show up, you'll have to wait for another time. But I can go and pet her if you want me to. I didn't see the request. If I ever miss your channel point request, just yell at me until I see it. Is that a humble brag? Maybe it is. I feel like I'm just trying to convey some of my strengths and weaknesses. My biggest weakness is being too good at deck building. As long as you promise to pet her someday, I'm good. I'll go pet her right now after I attack. Wait, F6ing. Okay, you have to actually still click OK. Okay, got it. Okay, Athena has been pet. Pretty good for us that they don't have another mana guy. If my opponent casts gifts here, I don't think I'm going to Venser it. But maybe I should. Okay, cool. And isn't it nice when you like are thinking about a hard decision you might have to make, and then it turns out you just don't have to make it at all? Love that. They put it on top. We'll see what they can do with this this mana. Okay, I'm still thinking about the hand, the Mold of 6 that had 2 Force of Negations on the draw but no lands. I almost feel like that hand was a keep. Very close. Maybe against Ad Nauseam it'd be a keep. I don't know. They have 1 card in their hand. What is it? Probably Past in Flames. Yep. It's pretty good. Pretty good. And I can't even click yield till end of turn. I don't know, actually, how good is this? They get to Manamorphose into 2 cantrips. And they were not supposed to flashback these rituals yet, because they might fizzle here, and now if they fizzle off these cantrips, then they would have wanted those rituals in their yard. They could have left 1 in their yard, at least. I think actually they could have left both. And there's just no reason to do it first. They put 1 on bottom, 1 on top. And it's going to be pretty hard. Yeah, it's going to be pretty hard for them to win. They need a Manamorphose, probably. Actually, I guess they could just, like... There's like, now that their Storm is so high, Grape Shot is pretty live. Zordon, 14 months in a row, almost 2 years. And almost 2 years, maybe we haven't gotten very good at math, but do appreciate you, bud. It's a long time. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Did not play around this at all. Yeah, there has been a lot of Blue-Red Storm lately. I think the deck is very good. And like, even though it's seeing a lot of play, I even feel like it's underplayed, honestly. I played some Blue Red Storm off stream a couple weeks ago, and I was playing the Boil Proof mana base, and I was playing Madcap Experiment and Boil in the sideboard, and the deck felt great. It felt really, really good. I lost one match to E-Tron, where the deck just kind of fizzled, but besides that, I was really impressed by it. Well, we need to draw some either some basic lands or Aether Gust, lest we're gonna die pretty quick here. They only had one floating after Past in Flame, needed to rid into Metamorphose to make blue with spare red to win. Well, the first ritual was maybe something they had to cast, but the second I thought they had two red floating, but if they only had red, they could cast one ritual, then Metamorphose for blue, cast two cantrips, and still have the floating red for the other one. But the second ritual was unnecessary for them to cast, at least. At least when they cast it. Alright. Kind of weird. I guess they were playing Red Force. Makes some sense. I'm going to bring in the third Gust. Think over the second Venser. Venser's not that good against them. I don't think you really want to draw two. It's okay. I can keep this hand. Veil of Summer does stop not only their counter spells, but also stops Gifts Ungiven, which is nice. I'm going to try to get Island and, we're going to have a Forest in hand. I'll try to get an Island off of Misty. They can't turn one Blood Moon. Although I actually have played, on occasion, a Simian Spirit Guide and Storm, just to have an extra mana source to Gifts Ungiven for. It almost never came up, but I did play it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'd recommend it, but I did play it for a while. All right. This play is pretty cold to Blood Moon, but I think we're supposed to make it. I know that Tails encounters Baral, but it's not like we have a ton of dead cards to countering the Storm Trigger doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter at all. But countering Baral, I also don't think is super relevant. It matters more than the Storm Trigger. But it's not like we have a 1,000 dead cards we need to cut to bring in. If we did, I'd be more interested, but we just don't. Afternoon, Bernard. Maybe Tails End does matter for Empty the Warrens, but doesn't matter for Grape Shot. Yeah, I bring in Big Teferi in most matchups, or maybe not most, but a lot of matchups. But that's also because sideboard games are slower in Modern in general, and Big Teferi is, is better in sideboard games than in game ones, basically across the board. Especially when you bring in cards like Tails End and Aether Gust, that's also where Baral shines. I think I'm going to counter draw. Why Big Teferi over Jace? A few different reasons. I think the biggest one is that Teferi is harder to kill because it has higher loyalty, but it is also better when you have Tails End and Aether Gust to just go, Teferi +2, untap the 2 mana, where Jace doesn't have that exact upside. Getting Teferi down does seem pretty good to me. Doesn't mean it means we don't have 2 pieces of interaction up, but I think that's fine. And then I'll bounce the Electromancer over Baral because it's just a bit harder on their mana because they have to tap a red source. I'm not going to remand this though. If they play a ritual, if we play a ritual and we remand the ritual, we're basically dead if they have another untapped red source. Thank goodness we just don't have to make hard decisions ever. Although maybe remanding that was better. Because it's still in their hand to get got by the Veil of Summer later. And then we can hold up Cryptic plus Veil for next turn. I don't know, it's close. That's a good draw. Why don't we go ahead and exile Goblin Electromancer? Yeah, I want to exile Electromancer over Baral because I don't want to trade Skyclave for Electromancer. And Baral's extra ability doesn't matter at all because we have a Teferi. And if they have an extra Baral in their hand, it's still stranded. So I think for those three reasons, we just want to do this. And we don't need to worry about them playing spells in their upkeep, of course, because any fun that they may want to have is currently being raveled by Teferi's static ability. Yeah, Skyclave is unreal. Just such a good card. They're going to Noxious Revival, Gifts Ungiven, which resolves, of course. They're going to play Tormod's Crypt to play around me somehow, like, to play around Snapcaster, I guess. I really thought that they were going to do something else there, but whatever. I'll make them think I have another Veil by leaving up this forest. It's a pretty good draw. I guess I'm going to play it. Remand should be able to stop their gifts pretty well. And if we draw a land, we get to Cryptic. But Remand should be enough for this turn. And we'll just draw Force of Negation, I guess, again. Yeah, I think this is the seal. I mean, it's not like we really needed this. They don't have any mana creatures in play anymore. But I do think is the nail in the coffin. That is a third metaphor for how dead my opponent is. They're going to splice a Desperate Ritual. Guess I'll just remand that. Time Walk. Am I going to Anthonize this illusion? I guess I will. Seems pretty free to do so. We can also bounce the Anthonize with Teferi if they play another Brawl or something. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. Does Esther call me Spike too? Yeah, she does sometimes, but usually as a joke. She's like, oh my god, are you aspiring Spike? Should have played the fetch first to get back with Witness. Yeah, that would have been a cool play. That would have been a cool play. I guess we're supposed to counterbounce Witness. This is good because our opponent can never ever beat it under any circumstance, which is probably the best thing about this play. Is that there's no world where my opponent beats that. Oh yeah, they just crack in response to the target. But they might make the mistake. There's not like a high cost in doing so. My opponent has lost connection to the game. They've lost connection to the game. And now they've joined the game again. Well, it's not 10 minutes. You know, even if I don't. Yeah, they're back. Okay, they actually did lose connection to the game. They're also still playing for some reason, but whatever. When I started playing Magic, did I immediately become a Spike? Well, I never have been one. I'm still an aspiring one, but I was probably more of a Timmy. I played like green-white, like just like Celestia decks for the longest time. I just loved Celestia decks. I thought they were great. And I was right. But I don't think anybody starts off super competitive in a game. Because they're just like, there is time you have to take to learn it. Maybe that's not true. I guess if you like start off from like, if you're already like very competitive in a different game, maybe it's easier to jump into like the Spike side of things. Did you ever play that GRN Celestia Tokens deck? GRN. Guilds of... What? Guess I'm blanking. Suppose I want to play Wall. Because maybe we can surprise our opponent with Ice-Fang down the line. How can you speak in monotone and be the funniest streamer ever? Thanks, man. It's just kind of my humor is just say, you know, maybe make my jokes kind of indiscernible from my regular thing and let the listener differentiate between the two. I think it's kind of funny to like, you know, make sure whoever I'm talking to is actively listening. Oh yeah, the March of the Multitudes deck. No, I've never played it, but I know it was like a good deck at the time. Deadpan, yeah. Fair enough. Opponent does not have a fourth land either. Let's see if we find one here. I might just path my own Ice-Fang. Yeah. I'd rather not path my opponent who's missing land drops, and we can now just Skyclave the Voice next turn. This might be a Winota deck. Nope. It's a very good Nyazu deck. Alright, if I miss my land drop, I'll play a Wall. Man. Okay, we hit a land, finally. Right on time. And I guess I'll just main phase path the Voice. Maybe I was supposed to get a basic plane, so Ice-Fang has Death Touch. Don't think it matters that much. We have 2 walls here. If they had Tarka's Command, am I going to force? Good question. My answer is, I don't know. I think yes. So nice. I feel like every decision tree that I plant, when it comes down to it, I don't have to make the hard decision. Just ends up being the easy decision. Suppose it's a bit better to Uro first. But I can't imagine that we don't Skyclave the Voice. What is that burn spell? That's Tribal Flames. Dude, I love it when my opponents do. Look at this. I have another Uro in my hand. I really do caution you against pathing Uros that have not escaped yet. Unless it's like the very late game that's very resource light and you know this was their top deck and you kind of know they don't have another Uro. But like when I still have like 5 cards in my hand, I would not recommend pathing Uro in these spots. It just like is always good for me, I think. Or almost always good. Like that Uro got to, was a 3 for 1. 4 for 1? 3 for 1. Wait. Yeah, 3 for 1. 4 for 1 if you count the 3 life, which maybe you should. This is fine. The wall. The wall. No one on Earth can make him fall. Does only Afro still make videos? Probably not. I haven't looked in a while, but absolutely legendary Dark Souls content creator. Probably has gone hollow by now. I think on a sideboard like this looks pretty good to me. This matchup seems pretty good too. Like we have 6 1-mana white removal spells, 4 Aether Gust, 4 Ice-Fang, 4 Wall, Uro, Skyclave are all real good. I guess Teferi's like a little sus, but it seems okay. I still need to play Sekiro. I keep thinking I need to play it, and then I keep doing other things. For the longest time, I kept just playing Dark Souls 1 again instead of playing Sekiro. But no video games for me until after the PT. And then I think I might buy an Oculus and then play Half-Life Alyx after the PT. Or maybe Esther will buy me an Oculus for Christmas and I'll buy her something real nice. The PT is historic and standard. My deck lists are due Sunday, and then the tournament is the weekend after this Sunday. So I think we're going to go Breeding Pool into Basic Plains, Aether Gust, into Basic Plains, Skyclave, and then Ice-Fang will have Death Touch. I mean, indexes are just like $1,000 though, and Oculuses are like $300, right? I don't know. I don't think a index is in the budget. I mean, has anybody played Half-Life Alyx on the Oculus? Like, how is it really just not good on the Oculus? They put the Coatl on the bottom. Well, I was under the impression that the Oculus was good hardware, just like at an affordable price. If that's not the case, then I won't get it. But I was under the impression that it was just fine. In fact, I'd been told that the Oculus was good hardware, but with bad, like, kind of awkward software. Like the user interface is kind of bad. You guys keep talking about Facebook, but I don't know anything about. I didn't know that Oculus and Facebook were somehow connected in any way. You know, it may seem like I'm a professional gamer guy, but in reality, I am pretty green to all these things. Man, Domri is so good here. Yeah, I think we need to attack the Domri. You're required to have and use your Facebook. What does that mean? Use your Facebook? Like, does it check you in every time you play it? Stupid. I don't think my opponent's going to block with T because people love for their sideboard cards to be in play for forever. They reveal a Knight of the Reliquary. Well, my opponent's deck is officially cooler than mine. Maybe it always was. Right, so I think I want to kill their Domri. So I'm going to block like this, and then we can take 2, then go Uro, Teferi, bounce their Knight, and then attack their Domri for 3. However, my opponent has put a wrench into my plan with Thalia, Garden of Thraben. You've been a thorn in my side for too long, Thalia. I send you into exile. I guess we go Uro into Path of the Night. Gain some life. Go basic Forest Prairie Stream. You have to tie your Facebook to the device. If anything happens to your Facebook account that is blocked, yeesh. Alright, I'll reconsider. I had no idea that that was a thing. Such a bummer. I just want to play Half-Life Alyx so badly. So badly. I know, I'm sure people in chat relate. But I love the other Half-Life games. Love. And just like the fact that a new one finally came out and and it looks so good and I just can't play it because the hardware is so prohibitively expensive. It's just such a bummer. The HP reverb, that sounds interesting, Squirman. I'll look into that. That sounds, you know, doable. Maybe I'll, you know, do well at the PT and buy an index. And maybe I'll just, you know, maybe I can, if I stream with the index, maybe I can just write it off as a business expense. Gyruda. I guess I'm gonna mulligan this against Gyruda. Need some counter spells. Yeah, it's pretty tough. I think you're probably right that I shouldn't listen to Twitch chat too much about, on tax advice. But my biggest problem is I get all of my advice from Twitch chat, so it's a bit of a conundrum for me. I get all my news and all my advice from Twitch chat. Oh yeah, it was the Blue-Black Grave Titan deck. I totally forgot. I totally repressed it from my brain. I can't believe I forgot it. Gemstone Caverns is busted. Why don't you play the cards we tell you? I do, but you tell me for money, and I play them on Thursdays. What did they exile? They exiled Basic Forest. Dude, turn 1 Farseek. Guys, remember Innistrad Return to Ravnica standard? Turn 2 Farseek was like... Turn 2 Farseek meant you had like an 80% chance to win the game or something. Ever seen a turn 1 Farseek? I think I'm going to play a wall instead of holding up Remand this turn. I'd rather try to Remand their 6 drops. I think. Like, I don't like really know what they're doing. But we can maybe Skyclave, a 4-mana creature. Something. I feel like we're gonna get trashed this game. They named Demon, so Garuda's a demon, I'm assuming. Play Steve. I guess they're just like the Garuda clone deck that just is kind of an established quantity in Pioneer, but a modern version of that is my guess. Yeah, the Legacy Gyruda deck was busted. What decks do you think this list struggles with? Mono Green Tron, I think, is the worst matchup. And then, like, Reclaimer Titan is tough. Regular Titan is okay. But Reclaimer Titan is tough. So I would say, like, those are the 2 decks to look out for the most. Bant Stoneblade is also a bad matchup. And I, like, lost to it in the finals of a challenge. But it's not, like, a very common deck. That's a Trastodon or a Primeval Titan. I guess this Gyruda deck is also a bad matchup. You can't Aether Gust a Gyruda. Fran, are you here? You can't Aether Gust a Gyruda. You ever think about that? Why not hold up Remand for Garuda? There's a Cavern of Souls on Demon, buddy. Yeah. Well, things could be worse. They could be better too. I'm gonna triple block, I guess. And then I think I'll take 1 hit off of Gyruda. I mean, I don't think that this is the clone version. It seems like it's just like a Titan deck that's trying to Gyruda as like extra Titans. I don't know what it is. I'll make him show me Field of the Dead. Can't Aether Gust to Gyruda. Well, this is going to be difficult. Venser seems really good against them. You can Tails into Gyruda. All right, now we're cooking with gas. Teferi. I think I'm bringing these in too. We got the paths, the fourth Ephemerate, the walls, and 3 Skyclave. What would it take for WotC to ban Field of the Dead? Enough people complaining on Twitter. Yeah, so you can counter the Garuda itself if they don't have Cavern, but you could also counter its ETB trigger even if they do have Cavern. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it's not great that they have a 6/6, but we're okay against 6/6s. Yeah, like we've lost to Grave Titan today, and now we've lost to Gyruda, but we've been good against other modern decks. Just, you know, it's obviously also clear you guys have not opened your third eye, but if Skyclave Apparition is the most played creature in Modern, just play creatures with CMC 5 or greater. Grave Titan, Gyruda, Terastodon, easy. Open your third eye. It all will become clear. I once played a Pathfinder character who was trying to open his third eye, but like mechanically, after a certain amount of meditation, I got to like roll a D100, and the DM had a number that if I rolled, I would awaken it. It would have no mechanical benefits, we decided, but I spent a lot of downtime trying to do it. I never did. My character died first. Yeah, I'm honestly only half joking. Like, if you can find a deck that is playing, you know, like what if, like maybe Esper Gorios with Obsidat is great because you can't Skyclave Obsidat, or I guess Stormwing Entity is maybe the more obvious one. You can't Stormwing is like real good against Skyclave, of course. Kess is not a 5-drop, sadly. That's why Kess is bad. That's why Kess is bad, is because she costs 4, not 5. Get a mulligan, I guess. Keep this. You can also Tails and Sakura Tribe Elder. Wow. Yeah, Grimag Angler. Today has shown that not having Field or Cleansing Wildfire in your deck leaves some big weaknesses in Modern. I agree, Kenny. I agree that this deck is way softer to big mana than Jeskai is. The main idea is that Tailsend is good against Greentron. Your deck is just kind of good against E-Tron already. I think E-Tron is a good matchup. And then you have Aether Gust for prime times, but other big mana strategies are a nightmare. But I really don't think you can afford to play Field of Ruin in this deck. The mana base is already so loose. Dovin's Veto. Maybe I was supposed to bring in Veils. Do I play Commander? And if I do, what decks do I play? I used to play a ton. I used to have like a mini $1,000, or more like $2,000 or $3,000 Orloro deck. That was very much pimped out. And then I just didn't play it for a long time. I wasn't really focused on Commander. And I decided to sell it. I also had like, so I had 3 decks for a long time. I had a really powerful Orloro deck, and then I had kind of a medium power level Safi Eric starter deck, and then for when people, you know, weren't like, didn't have a high power level, you know, deck, and then I also had a pre-con that so I could play against anybody who wanted to, basically. But I ended up selling all my paper collection. I've been buying into it recently, and I have created a Slyn Vada commander deck, which is a sea monster tribal deck that's playing like all the terrible sea monsters from Magic's history: Polar Kraken, Jokul Mordor, Kraken Hatchling, just like a lot of really expensive, terrible creatures, and I've been having a good time with it. Smothering Tide is probably playing. Yeah, Smothering Tide's a real good card. I actually have 2 I need to sell. They're like so expensive now because of EDH. But I opened them in packs of a Seal tournament, I think. Can I draw a land? Drew an Aether Gust. They didn't put Gyruda into their hand, which implies either that they forgot about it or they are holding up some interaction. And I'm just gonna hope they don't have land 6 and a Titan or Gyruda. And I'll just get their counterspell out of their hand too. Yeah, I can't gust Gyruda, but I mean they don't have Gyruda in their hand. At least they don't have their Gyruda companion in their hand. I guess I'll try to draw a Force. Not that that will be very relevant, probably. Yeah, but Smothering Tide is a really interesting card. I think it might be modern playable if it was 3 mana. 4 mana for an enchantment is... It's like a little loose. Brick, Adelphia. It's lucky. It's not super lucky to have missed on, you know, every land drop, but whatever. Maybe just escape Uro next turn. They put some fuel in the graveyard. Very timely 4th land. What in the world is our opponent playing? Good question. They're playing a ramp deck that's playing both Gyruda and Primeval Titan as a payoff, with Gyruda as a companion. And it crushed us game 1, and I think we're going to get crushed again. They put the other Gyruda into their hand. We're really going to need them to brick, I think, in order for us to stand a chance. The name Giant with that Cavern of Souls. However, I doubt that they have one in their hand. If they did... Oh, this... Yeah. I guess they're just playing around Tail's End. But if they did, I'm sure that they would have casted that turn. I guess I'm escaping Uro. Gonna leave just the Time Warp in my graveyard. I guess I'll leave Time Warp Tail's End. I saw like a Legacy Urza deck that was playing. Ooh, okay. I saw a Legacy Urza deck that was playing Gyruda the other day. It looked kind of okay. I'm not going to block because they have another Gyruda in their hand. I wanted to put this in my EDH deck, but it's sadly not mono blue. Was it? Yeah, I guess it was a Bomberman. That's a pretty cool deck. Losing out on Emery though, I'm not sure that losing out on Emery is better than getting Gyruda. I will say that. Alright, my opponent brick Adelphia last time. We could Mystic Sanctuary Time Warp to the top of our deck or something just to make it less likely that they hit something from our end, but we only have Venser for them to hit, so doesn't seem very worth it to me. That's a Kozilek. Is Kozilek beatable? I kind of think that it is. Yes, they choose Primeval Titan instead. I actually disagree that Emery and Urza... Oh no, I needed to gust this in response to the trigger. Man. I was so loose. Oops. But maybe we can go Teferi into Cryptic Command lock. Yeah, we should be able to Cryptic lock them. Can also Time Warp too. We did need to draw a land, which we did successfully. And I'll do this on their upkeep because they do play counter spells. They have one card in their hand. If it's a counter spell, we get to salt off about it. Get to post an angry rant. As usual. I guess they're just dead to us taking 2 turns if they don't have anything. Alright, so I'm just going to F6. Your fate is in your own hands, opponent. They can kill your Teferi if you just Cryptic them, so it's got to be Time Warp. Yeah. I mean, if them killing Teferi is fine because we have Uro, though. They have to kill both. That does nothing, right? Because we just minus Teferi on it. But that does something. Radiant Fountain. Yeesh. I think we're still in okay shape. If this is Sakura Tribe Elder, it's worse because they get to block the Uro. So we draw Time Warp. Cast Time Warp. Draw a card with Teferi, I think. Well, we could Mystic Sanctuary back Cryptic and then tap their team in our instep. Or we could just take another turn. I think I'm going to tap their team, bounce the Sanctuary. Yeah, then we can take another turn after that. Okay. Wait, is this infinite turns? I don't think it is. Maybe it is because we have Uro. We'll just see. Surely they're not playing Force of Negation, right? Let's do the Time Warp again. I'm gonna Ice-Fang now, so we have a better chance of putting a land into play off of Teferi, or sorry, off of Uro. Although I guess that means we can't Uro now. Yeah, never mind. This is bad. So we need to draw Eternal Witness or another Cryptic, I guess. Maybe this was riskier than just like Cryptic tapping their team on their turn. I think it was okay to do it this way. Might as well leave the Ice-Fangs back in case we do need to just block a bunch. Which it's seeming more and more likely that's going to be the case. And I think we can survive. Maybe we can't. But maybe we can. The unfortunate thing here is that math is for blockers, but we're the ones that are blocking. Yeah, if it was any land besides Radiant Fountain, we actually do get to kill them with our double Ice-Fangs there. Good point. Okay, pass. Your turn, opponent. I think we're not dead on board. Am I going to sack 4 permanents or am I going to Tails in the Kozilek? I'll probably just sack 4 lands. We could maybe Tails end the Titan trigger. Maybe Gust Titan. Yeah, I probably should Gust the Titan. You can't -3 on lands with Teferi. I would have if I could have, I think. It's non-land permanent. It would be pretty good if you could hit lands. I guess that's true of a few different cards. I don't think that we need to Tails in Kozilek. I think we could just sack 4 lands. Sack Mystic Sanctuary, Island Plains. They also like kind of have to deal with this Teferi, right? Well, I mean, we just get to leave up interaction, you know? I think, like, I don't know if this needed to be said, but we get to leave up interaction if we do this. Oh, if they're gonna attack like this, I'm more likely to Tails End the trigger. We can block Kozilek with Ice-Fang. How much mana do we have? We have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. No. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We can sack the Teferi as one of these permanents. Yeah. I think it's fine. Yeah, it's been a tricky game to manage. Now I'm glad I didn't Tails in the trigger, because I have a Titan to Gust. And they shuffled away the other Titan that we gusted earlier from the Kozilek. Well, it doesn't really matter. There's still one on top. Uh-oh. Stop having spells, please. Okay, that's fine. Never mind. I overreacted. That's an okay spell for you to have. Big draw step. Ooh, they got something. Archmage's Touch. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a creature from among them onto the battlefield. It gains at the beginning of your end step. Return that creature to its owner's hand. So I guess we know why they're playing white. It's been a long time since I've read this card. They're dead to a Cryptic. Or an Eternal Witness. They're not exactly dead to like anything we have in our hand though. Yeah, this is actually like really good against Aether Gust. Forgot we had this coming. Yeah, I'm only playing one Sanctuary. The mana base is like real bad. Cannot believe we won this game. Unreal. Unreal. We still have to play game 3. No, Steve is tapped 2. Oh, no. Oh, we have Tails in for Steve. I see. See what you mean. Easy. Tails in is so good. People keep asking me, hey, Spike, what do you have Tails in the deck for? Exactly that. No other reason. I'm going to cut the 4th Skyclave. I think Skyclave is bad against them. I'll play like the first Gust. Or sorry, first Veil. We saw that they're playing what's that card? Dovin's Veto. Yeah, Tailsin is good because it counters Cass. Yeah, that was another line. I'll keep this, I guess. I'm not like super happy with it, but I do think this is our best card, and Time Warp is also like really important, I think. I think that's one of our best plans, is just the Time Warp combo. Opponent kept 7 this time. We'll see if they play around Tails End. Because I will Tails End Steve. Do I ever go on anybody's podcast? Yeah, I basically say yes to everybody who asks me. I go on the Dive Down podcast a lot, but I've been on a few other ones. I've been on the Pioneer cast back when it was called that, the midweek metagame, Faithless Brewing a couple times. Kind of like to force this. That way they can't play a 6-drop next turn. I guess I'll draw a card first. Do you actually have a podcast, Bad? No, so the Pioneer cast changed names. The Dive Down didn't. I don't know if I misspoke or not. Just you talking to yourself in an empty room. That is most podcasts. I'm thinking about replacing walls with Coiling Oracle. Would this be an awful idea? I think yes. The walls are really good because they block the illusion tokens that Skyclave Apparition creates. And, you know, of course, also really helps you against aggro decks. But yeah, I would not be... I would not suggest you make that change. They name Giant with Cavern. They get Breeding Pool, which is a bit weird, I guess. They put Gyruda into their hand, which you cannot Tails End for some reason. It's pretty weird that you can't, honestly. Where do goblins go in Modern? It has like a pretty bad prowess matchup, but I've been thinking that it's been underplayed for a long time. I think goblins is underplayed and underrepresented. Well, this isn't like good, but I think we're kind of forced into making that and casting that Tails in there. Then I don't even really know what I'm trying to draw. I guess we're probably gonna have to Cryptic Command lock them again. Easy, right? Easy, right? If I keep saying it's going to be easy, does that make it true? Yeah, every goblin has been lava darted. Rest in peace to every goblin. Well, this was funny. Surely they would just want to get the lands here. I don't know. Maybe not. They named Demon. I was holding up Cryptic Command to counter their Demon, but I guess they're just playing it next turn. So maybe I'll like bounce my own Ice-Fang and Mystic Sanctuary Time Warp and draw a card. That could be good. That could be good. Maybe. And by good I mean like maybe gives me some outs to win this game. I did have, you know, maybe higher hopes for this Cryptic Command, but what are you gonna do? If they counter it, I'll remand my own Cryptic. I don't really anticipate that they will, though. I don't think they're gonna care. Alright, I don't know if that like is part of us having chances to win this game, especially when
What's up? It's me.
especially when this Time Warp isn't doing very much. Thank you for gifting a sub. I do appreciate that. I guess I'm gonna bounce their Prime Time. Is this deck better than Just Guy Wildfire? I've been getting second place in a lot of challenges, or I guess 2 challenges with it lately. I think it's good. I would choose to play this right now in a tournament over Just Guy, but I think both lists are fine. It's like Just Guy is better against big mana, and this is kind of like better against like fair decks than Just Guy is. And they're both about as good against aggro. They put a counter on the Blast Zone. Maybe I was supposed to Ephemerate right there. I kind of don't feel like they're going to be holding up Blast Zone. Maybe they are. Yeah, if we can just find a Witness, we can win. I'm probably going to cycle Remand on Giant here. Maybe I won't. Maybe I won't. Let's see what we draw off of this. Ah! Oh my gosh, what a draw. Jeez. Can't believe it. It's a Lightning Helix. Oh my gosh. What the hell? That was so great. This has been an awesome match. Oh, whoops. Whoops. Can't even play the clip. I'm so stunned. I mean, we win if we draw Eternal Witness. They can't Blast Zone my Ice-Fang. Have, like, a few looks. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Oh, wait, hold on. Maybe I was right to not believe it. Because I don't have enough mana. So I think what we want to do here is Ewit back a land, cast the Time Warp. And then if we draw another Ephemerate, we win. But we also just have a good chance of, not dying next turn. And now we have, the mana we need. Or I guess, the Witness is in play. Okay, so we can Venser bounce this. Well, yeah, that's not enough mana. But we can just play Teferi and cross our fingers. What a match. It's been awesome. Opponent's deck is definitely cool. I always love to play against Brews. Although now they can put a counter on the Blast Zone. Yeah, I know we can Venser the Titan. But we can also minus our Teferi on Eternal Witness, and then Teferi bounce the Venser bounce the Witness. No, they don't have enough mana to also Time Warp. No, I don't think we're supposed to Venser the Blast Zone. I think we just do this. Because we can also just do this for a couple turns, because we can Teferi Time Raveler minus on Venser plus Teferi Hero of Dominaria. And they don't even have the mana to Blast Zone. So now we should win because we can bounce the Witness, right? Although I guess they could have a counter spell. Yeah, when I was talking about my other ideas for lines, I was just kind of assuming they would have the land to hold up Blast Zone, but they didn't. Could have gusted the Witness and redraw it. That's actually a pretty cool idea. Something to think about for sure. In spots like this. I don't know that I've ever gusted my own permanent. Maybe I have. Mana Tithe would be awesome. They can't have Mana Tithe, they're Gyruda. they can't have Mana Tithe or Force, actually. It's kind of funny. I think we're getting the GGs here. Very, very close match. Just winning by the skin of our teeth in games 2 and 3. We couldn't beat the blue-black Grave Titan control deck, but we could beat the Gyruda deck. Oh yeah, Pact of Negation is a spell they can play, yeah. I was trying to think. And Esther gave me mac and cheese earlier. Which is not a euphemism. Actually, I was probably supposed to play Flooded Strand here. Although, I guess I'm still getting Breeding Pool either way, and our mana is just going to be perfect. Then this looks like a lead in Arbiter deck, so I'm going to want to play my second fetch land, and we can get Basic Island or Basic Plains, and because of Mystigate, our mana is A-okay. Although I guess I was supposed to play around Avid Mind Sensor. Yeah, dude, your Grave Titan deck was really cool. I did a bit about wanting to be your disciple, so if you could, DM me where your dojo is, I'll sell all my earthly possessions and buy a ticket. Do you need to sub? Yeah, you sub here for the sideboard guides. And then you link your Twitch with Discord and you join the Discord, and there's some instructions in the Discord on how to do that too.
Welcome, Spike.
It's that, yeah, subscribing is definitely the best way to support if you want to, but you know, I'm just glad that people are here and I'm doing okay. So definitely only subscribe if it's within your means. And Bant, thank you for your 6 months in a row. Hope you're having a good day today. Appreciate you. I think we don't chump to keep our Teferi alive. Yeah, we've got counter spells up now. This deck does mostly play at sorcery speed. But they've got a lot of mana. They could definitely beat one counter spell here with like double Vizier and payoff.
Welcome, Spikelings, to the Shark type.
Wait, did they already put Lurrus into their hand, or are they just not playing Lurrus? They didn't reveal Lurrus. Interesting. They just have Lurrus in the deck. That's not common. I am going to counter it, and maybe we lose, but you know, cowards can't block warriors. B Games, thank you for your subscription. I do appreciate you. Thank you. Alright, they have infinite green mana. They do only have 2 cards in their hand, so it's not a foregone conclusion that we're dead. They sack the Canopy. And now oh, they're passing. Hell yeah, that's exciting. I'm going to block like this to make them think that it has Death Touch. I guess they just know it doesn't. Just going to little fake out there. Alright, this does give the Ice-Fang Death Touch. I mean, they've got infinite mana, so I don't really... I guess we'd have to fetch and shock a white source. Yeah, we can't path and make Ice-Fang Death Touching and hold up Cryptic, so I guess we just path. And we could maybe just bounce the Devoted Druid here. I kind of don't hate that. But I think I'd rather hold up Cryptic. You think it's 100% bounce? I don't think it is. Because they just didn't have a payoff last turn, so it's like... I really just doubt that they have 2 payoffs here. That's a tough call. Maybe I was supposed to counter bounce. No, they just make infinite mana. So let them have a card. Yeah, we could maybe have E-Witted Path there. Which is better, the Heliod Company or Devoted Druid? I kind of think the Heliod Company deck is better at the moment, but it's not abundantly clear to me that that is true. So now I'll bounce the Druid. Yeah, if they kill their own Druid, it implies to me that they have Finale, or not Finale, what is that card? The Phyrexian spell, you get to bring something back from the graveyard and it gets haste. I'm sure someone in chat has said it. Wait. Okay, so sorry, you're right. They couldn't kill it because of Vizier. They activated the ability, so whatever reason I thought they did it. I don't know. Just kind of brain farted there. It's not Noxious Revival, it's something else. Postmortem Lunge, yeah. So I think that's one of their 3 cards in hand. And the other one is Devoted Druid, and then they have another card, and they get to draw another card. Pretty interesting that they're just main decking the Lurruses instead of having Lurrus as a companion. My Ice-Fang has Death Touch now, opponent. I will block. Oh, wait, is this block so that they can Postmortem Lunge their Devoted Druid? I think it might be. I think it might be. Although that's kind of fine. It's kind of fine. It's an interesting play if that was intentional. I mean, I'm having a hard time like getting the read if that was intentional or not. But Ewit plus Ephemerate plus Path is exceedingly difficult for them to beat, so I'm not too bothered here. I don't think we need to leave the Teferi in play right now. If they have main deck Path, good for them. But that's also just not, you know, very common. So I'm going to make white, and then I'm going to Ephemerate my Eternal Witness first. And this way, if they do have a Path, I could remand my own Ephemerate. Get back a Cryptic Command. Then I'll Path the Vizier. And then maybe our opponent should concede, but we'll see. I can't really imagine my opponent beating this. Trying to imagine it, but sadly my brain does not have that kind of processing power. I think it's also kind of good to get Skyclave down here. Probably a little unnecessary. But they would need to have Postmortem Lunge, Vizier, and Payoff, and we just need to have one piece of interaction for that, and we have, you know, that piece. I'm gonna Path the Bird. I don't think I am. I think I'll just get back into Teferi. Stop any funny business. Okay. They conceded to that. I don't think I'm supposed to read too much into that though. Bring in these. I think I want to play 2 Force, no remands. Maybe like 1 wall, maybe 0 walls. We'll see. I think I only want to play 1 Venser. Tailsend is kind of interesting because they just have all these main deck Luris. What else does it counter? Not that much, I guess. Yeah, not that much. I probably want like 3-ish Aether Gust. Teferi Time Raveler is also probably fine. This looks pretty good to me. Maybe I'm supposed to play 4 Gust on the draw. It's been a long time. I don't think I've ever played this matchup before. The Devoted Druid decks have been out of favor for a while. I'm not currently planning on playing 4-color Omnath soon. But, you know, I go where the wind takes me. I think it'd have to go on a long time before it was worse than the barbecuing as a verb discussion. I got out of control. I've never seen so many chatters banned in one stream before. Jokes aside, I do think it's cool that in like the year and a half I've been streaming, I think I've only had to ban like 4 or 5 people. I don't know if that's like above or below average, but it is something I am proud of. We're currently 3-1. We couldn't beat, could not beat Grave Titan. I kept trying to Aether Gust Grave Titan. It kept being not a black, green, or red spell. I think we just pass. Yeah, I do think that you cultivate the kind of chat that, like, you know, your chat is going to be kind of a representation of your personality in some ways, and I'm pretty easygoing, and I think, you know, I'm not very, I don't know. I agree, is what I'm trying to say. I think I'm just going to let this resolve, because I think they're getting Devoted Druid. I'm just going to Gust the Druid. Oh, they got Vizier instead. Well, probably still get to Gust the Druid. Yeah, we got good RNG on the Venser art. So if they play Vizier, I guess we're gonna go Path your Giver and then Gust your Hierarch, which is a bit awkward, since Path to Exile actually has some downsides, as it turns out. And I suppose we want to do this first, just in case for some reason they really want to draw a Hierarch. We won't give them that option. Yeah, I think I have a good combination of patience and thick skin, which is kind of perfect for streaming. That it's like really hard to get under my skin, and I also like at the same time care about you guys. Have I ever had issues with Moto's Clock with this deck? Kind of a little bit. Like, I play very quickly, and so I think that if you play this deck, you probably do want to be thinking about your clock pretty often. But just me personally, I play super fast, and it hasn't really been an issue for me. But I do acknowledge that it probably is an issue for this deck in general. I would say that if you're trying to figure out how to play faster as a control player, my biggest advice to you would be to try to make your decisions before you actually have to make them. So here I'm thinking, if my opponent plays a Devoted Druid, I'm just going to Venser it back to their hand. And if they don't play anything, I'm going to Venser their Temple Garden back to their hand. And so because I've already made that decision, I don't have to sit here and think about it on their end of turn. And that is I think that's a decent plan to get into. This is fine. That's a decent plan to get into for basically any deck, but specifically control decks where the clock is often an obstacle. Just getting into the habit of making decisions before you have to make them is something you want to be doing. Timu, I expected this from the rest of chat, but not from you. But also, barbecuing is definitely a verb. And I'll die on this hill. I guess I'll have to. Whoops, that. I should have left up mana to like play Ice-Fang or Ephemerate, and Misty Gate had me tripping. Well, it's a pretty good draw. Yeah, I think you're right, Escanta. That is a good one. Center is both an adjective, verb, and noun. Okay, so my opponent has a Veil of Summer, it seems, so I'm not going to play into it. Selfless Savior is an awesome card. I really like it. I like that Selfless Savior plays well with Luris. I feel like it's kind of flavorful to have like the cat and the dog be friends. Or like maybe more like sinisterly, the cat makes the dog sacrifice itself for it, and the dog is, happy to do so. I think I'll trade Witness for Savior. Like, I don't think they're going to take the block, but I'm going to leave the 2/2 back to block for Teferi for now. But I think I'd be fine if they block the Savior. Obviously, it's unfortunate that it's turn 9 and my opponent has only drawn 2 lands, despite even cantripping with Veil of Summer. We certainly should probably acknowledge that. They've run kind of poorly here. Slightly below average. And now we don't need to block because Teferi's going to have 2 loyalty, but I just want Teferi in play to play around Veil or Blossoming Defense. Potentially. And then, yeah, we can just tap their team next turn and attack for 5 if they don't chump here. Oh, that's right. I pathed their creature. That's unreal. That's unreal. That's crazy. Okay. I can see your messages are in our. I don't know. I don't think I saw a message that you got timed out. I didn't see what Iceman said. I'm sure it was something related to barbecuing. Are we crashing? I see Blackwing typing an F in the chat. Sometimes this happens and I can restart before the actual stream crashes. Are we still live? Is everything okay? That's TV who said barbecuing was a pronoun, which I think was just a joke. Maybe I said it on accident because I was reading it, but it's not. F for fine. Oh no. I just like so many times that my stream has crashed and I can see the F's in the chat, but for whatever reason I can see them and then my stream crashes. So every time I see it I start sweating. My opponent is dead. Unfortunate for them that it took them 9 turns to draw a land. This is their first land they drew this game because we had the path. So we 4-1 back-to-back leagues. Did not pick up a trophy today. I think we did on Monday, Tuesday. It's all blurring together. But I'm liking this deck a lot. I would recommend playing this deck in the challenge tomorrow if you're...